man, so a green day for Bitcoin. We've got the Bank of England stepping in to save the British pound. That is allowing Bitcoin to move today on hopes that the Fed could soon be doing the same, taking a lead from the Bank of England to start reducing its tightening policy. We're going to cover that off and a lot more. Plus, look at the key levels here on the Bitcoin chart. If you appreciate the type of updates, guys, smash up the likes. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm not going to leave you hanging, even when I'm busy traveling plus business meetings. So, guys, smash up likes. Make sure you show some support for the algorithm. Now, as you can see, guys, I'm looking here at the Dixie, the dollar index, and we know this is the trend right now. This is the one narrative which is driving the market. So if you do not understand it, stay tuned with me till the very end, and I will try my best to make it as clear as possible. You know that this is inversely correlated to Bitcoin. We've covered this off at length on this channel. If you haven't watched any previous videos, please go back and watch it to understand why this moves inversely correlated. But in essence, when the market is risk off, dollar index is going up, right? Risk off, bad for NASDAQ, bad for risk stocks, bad for cryptocurrencies. Now, why are we seeing this calling off? Look at this calling off exactly as we predicted, coming into its EMA ribbon. Now, please be careful. We haven't lost trend here on the 4-hourly just yet. Okay, so this is good. And this three sets of red candles is good for Bitcoin, which I'm going to show you. That's why we're getting the pump. But if we lose this trend on the 4-hourly, that's even better for Bitcoin. If we can close below this EMA ribbon here on the 4-hourly, that's a really good sign here for Bitcoin. And that's what I'm looking out for. Now, what's causing this to fall? Because if we want this to fall, because we're inversely correlated to it, what is it that's moving this? Well, we know that we were monitoring the dollar index, and it shows the dollar's strength relative to the GBP and euro. And we saw that the GBP and euro were tanking recently. But look now, we're now getting our calling up exactly as we predicted over the last couple of days together, guys, into our EMA ribbon. Again, we've not flipped the trend. We're still in a bearish trend on the GBP, and I can show you the same for the euro here, running into our EMA ribbon. If we can flip these EMA ribbons bullish again and flip the dollar index EMA ribbon bearish to the downside, that is good news for crypto. That can lead to a more sustained pump for Bitcoin. And shortly, I'm going to show you the levels we could expect if we can start to see that happening. Now, first, let's take a look at what's going on. European markets, nice and green today. US markets, nice and green today too. But what's driving this? This is being driven by the fact that the Bank of England are stepping in to intervene in the bond market. What does this mean? Well, what this means is, when there's panic in the markets, and you've seen what's happened with the GBP and euro, which I just showed you, this drives up the yields of those government bonds because nobody's interested in them. Okay, now what that does then is that undermines the integrity of what the Bank of England is trying to do. So they need to go in now and they need to buy these bonds at unlimited levels. And that's what they've said they're going to do. They're going to go ahead and buy back these bonds. Now, this is getting a lot of people excited that maybe we could see the same. Maybe the Fed could start to pivot. Can we see the Fed start to pivot and do the same thing? Now, remember, this whole market thing right now, this whole crypto winter, this bear market is centered around the fact that the Fed are tightening. That's why we've been monitoring it so long. That's why we've been waiting for Jerome Powell to speak. That's why we've been waiting for CPI data and labor data. Because when we can see that Jerome Powell is going to turn off the money hoover, sucking out all this money in the economy, that's when we can signal our next move to the upside. So we're waiting for this pivot. This pivot, when is it going to come? He told us in the last summary of economic projections, he's going to increase rates deeper and for longer to 4.6%. But now the evidence from UK, from the Bank of England, is saying, hang on a second, you need to be careful of what you're doing here. So this is why the markets are feeling a little bit positive today. Fear and greed index, obviously this is reading from the previous day, is sitting at 20. You can see that we're still in the extreme fear category. And now let's take a look at the Bitcoin chart to see what can we be achieving here? And what are the levels that are really important to us here in the short term? So up 1.5% today. You can see here on our 4-hourly EMA ribbon, we got exactly what we predicted, right? If I remove the EMA ribbon for a second, actually, we got the breakout to the upside here from our symmetrical triangle. If you guys were following it here on this channel, we called that nice and perfectly. And if you traded that to the top of the wedge, congratulations. But we said this was against the trend. So exactly as we said, it came correcting all the way back down. Held some really important support here at the bottom of the channel, 18,700. Look how perfectly this is acting as support, guys. This is a channel we've been monitoring for a very long time. You guys have been watching the channel for the last few months. What a channel we've been respecting here at 18,700. This is why it's so important to have your support and resistance line drawn out. And don't keep changing them. Keep them there. Monitor them. Now, still here, we're in a bearish pattern here, okay? You need to be careful. We are still showing lower lows and lower highs, albeit we're holding support here, but we are getting wedged into this sort of situation, okay? So the bears are still in control. Let's not get too excited. And we need to see here that on our EMA ribbon, we're still undecided on the 4-hourly. And if we bring it up to the daily, we're still below our EMA ribbon. So things are starting to look good with this pump. But again, let's not forget where we're at. The bears are still in control. They still got the noose around our necks, and this is just a slight relief rally we're seeing whilst the dollar index cools off. We have to give the dollar index the benefit of the doubt, right? Yes, when you look at this chart, it's just cooling off, right? If I show you this on the daily chart, it barely even looks like it's coming towards this daily EMA ribbon, right? But if it does start working its way, we were looking at the 4 hourly here. Let's just go back to the 4 hourly. That's what we're seeing right now. It's this correction into its 4 hourly EMA ribbon that's allowing the pump to occur. Now, for this pump to carry on, we need to see a wider correction on dollar index into its EMA ribbon here. But remember, if it bounces, if it doesn't lose its EMA ribbon to the downside, if we don't close below that EMA ribbon, then the dollar index is going to rip again, and that's going to be bad for Bitcoin. So keep an eye out on this, guys. This is what's moving the markets right now. The whole issue around the currency, that's the narrative right now. GBP, Euro, dollar index. Make sure you tune into it. Make sure you understand what's going on in terms of the bond yields. Make sure you're monitoring it like I monitor it here. You can pull up the US 10 year and you can have that there. You can see how yields are climbing. You want to see that call off back into its EMA ribbon here on the US 10-year yield. Again, if this yield climbs too high, the Fed could need to intervene as well, similar to what we're seeing with the Bank of England. Hope you guys appreciate this quick update. Super busy day. I've not had a single minute rest today. I've not even had a bite to eat, but committed to giving you guys the updates when it matters. So if you appreciate that, smash up likes, make sure you subscribe, get involved in the community. If you want to buy any crypto, BitGet, BYBIT, check out the links in the description, and I'll see you in the next one.